We're on. Okay. No, please follow me into the right direction. Sorry. All right, let's pray that this works today. Okay, we're going to start with looking at last week's CFA for math. So what were the TEKs? And we can talk about it as all of second grade, or if you want to talk about individually, like by class. But we're going to identify the lowest TEK. And then we're going to identify, does it need to be a whole group, small group, or an individual reteach? And I can explain that a little bit more since this is the first time we're doing the actual identification of it. And then we're going to just type in which students are getting that reteach, okay? Okay. So look at your data and tell me what your lowest TEK is off of that test, and then we'll dive in.
Do I look at my data through there or through?
You can pull it up, or I do also have it on here.
Because I can do it by the individual responses, right?
Yes, but you're going to want to look at it as the item analysis.
How do I?
And so...
Over here?
Yes. And at first it'll pop up a whole grade level, but if you want to look at it just for yourself, it's here. Yeah.
Okay. So they did 53%?
Mm-hmm.
40. Oh, they take that into 96. So the lowest one was 2.3C.
Yes, so then if like we don't have copies of it, yeah, I always just open it up so I can just see it. Okay, so we're identifying lowest was repeat that again, 2.3C.
Uh-huh.
And you said So what is
Because that's the one that, like, it took me a while to understand. Remember that I went to ask you?
Okay.
My kids were doing it. Oh, well, that's 8.
Okay.
In those 2 holes, there's 8 pieces. So I think they were doing 6 8s.
Okay.
22.
So like a personal, like you're saying, because I didn't understand.
I didn't understand
Okay.
it. I was confused about it.
Okay. So let's go. I'm gonna put this on Wednesday.
So when I started teaching that, it was already maybe too late for them to.
Right, and maybe some caught, and so that's why we're gonna go even deeper into the percent of it. Okay, so people kind of change their rules of, and I will ask for clarification on this, but for today's purposes, since everyone's out, we're gonna make the decision on whether or not you want to do that as a whole group or small groups. Okay, so below 70.
It's a whole group.
People like to use as whole group. And then above that, you want to reteach in small groups to grab the others. Mm-hmm. Now, there's different strategies of how you could do the reteach when it comes to below and above. But that's when people talk about like the discourse, where if you're showing the work to them and you want them to have conversation, but you would need to know if you feel like your students are at the level of being able to even identify those mistakes. Okay. Also looking at the work that they turned in from the test last week. Does anyone have really good? Or do you want to do this as a individual, like you just get up and reteach it during acceleration that morning? Take a second. I'm going to type in your 2.3 C. It was...
So maybe you reteach it as a whole classroom.
Okay, you want to do a whole group reteach.
Looking at the percentage.
Oh, it was 40%? Is that what it's...
Yeah,
okay.
40. But then I have 20 in A, 26C, and then 13D.
Okay.
So they're all confused.
Okay. Good catch. Whole group. Reteach. Okay, and then just quickly looking at the question, the problem, what it looks like. If you were going to get up and reteach this problem, what would you change about how you taught originally?
So
Or you can talk it through and I can
I don't know. Maybe
help
I need
you.
help. So maybe we will separate them, right? So there are still 2 holes in that picture, and each hole has 4 parts. So it doesn't matter how many parts are shaded, we're still looking as individuals, right? So we're finding the board that is 4 parts, partitioned into 4 pieces.
Right. So the first for me in my room, because we had 64% on this, which isn't perfect, but I start with, this is why I wish everybody else was here to kind of add into it, but that's okay. I would start with identifying what's the fraction that we're working with here before we ever count how many pieces of it that we have.
Which it was 1/4.
The fourths.
The fourth.
These are fourths.
Okay.
And so the activities that we were doing throughout the week, you know, like the explore with the fences and everything, you really hitting in on, okay, what's one whole piece here first, and what is that piece then split into?
Okay.
Even pulling out the fraction circles and just letting them know, like, every single time that we talk about the pink one or the yellow one, I think the yellow one's the fourths. Their name is fourth, no matter how many pieces are on there.
Mistake when we're doing numbers. They were using the numbers.
Okay. So yeah, I would probably go back and kind of do like a whole repeat of like the vocabulary. Vocabulary. Like, what is an actual whole? Like, what is a whole shape? And because we can only have a fraction if we have a whole shape that's been split into something, what would you call it? So they're only first looking at the whole. Okay, so now as we're talking about it, like if I were, and I even make it funny, like, oh, this is Bob. And then we count through and we go 1 Bob, 2 Bob, 3 Bob, 4 Bob, 5 Bob, 6 Bob, because they get really confused once they get past 4 fourths. The 5, they want to start count, like it's too much. Yeah. So definitely they'll go in, because you had a high percent put 6/8 because they're thinking there's 8 pieces on this whole entire thing. So I think identifying a whole shape is very important.
Well, no, see, I thought I higher put 2/4.
Okay, so only counting the second one. So counting all of the pieces in it.
That was 26%. But I think it's because they just didn't know, you know, like they were just confused. Maybe.
Or understanding that it's the shaded, because 2/4 is not shaded. Yeah. Okay, so I definitely agree that this is a whole group reteach. You could even model this exact one, and then we can find some activities that are something to give them to check. Okay. And then you don't need to write any students' names down in there because those are whole class there. That will be the one that we put on the CFA for the next reteach.
Okay.
Are you good with that? Okay. Okay, so we're going to create a no-show, because I know that you, Dixon's been mentioning the no-shows, and we haven't actually done the no-shows, so I wanted to go through that process with you, because we're going to have, when you start taking lead of the reading side of things, then you know how to create that chart. Okay, so for the no-show, we need to look at the upcoming week, and then the teaks that we're going to be doing for next week.
You're on the wrong one. Because I added a new one, sorry. I was going to start the next week, right?
This is 11.3 right now.
Yeah, and the other one was a copy of 11.3.
This is copy of 11.3.
Because I was going to start filling it in.
This is next week.
No, that's next week. That's a copy, right?
No.
Because you already did reading. Oh, we're doing this.
This is this week for 11:3, and then this is next week.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Well,
We can even look at it on the scope.
okay, how much information? So that's 11 what? 8?
8.
Okay.
Okay, so what are our TEKs for next week?
2.4A and 2.4B.
Okay, and then we would identify if, because we have more than one TEK a day, you would identify which one's the priority. So to find a priority, do you know how to find a priority?
No.
Okay, so there's 2 different places that we can go to look at that. The actual scope and sequence, they have the coding with the colors for you and show you if it's readiness or supporting TEK. But since both 2.4A and B are supporting, you don't have one that like trumps the other one. So if it per se was back in week 11, it would be, we would focus on 2.3B because it's a readiness
okay.
TEK.
And the yellow is reteach. Okay.
Now the other place, and it typically doesn't take this long to identify these, but I want to make sure that you know how to identify these when somebody asks you these questions. The Lead Forward app that I told you, I bookmark it and just keep it in case I ever have a question and it's something that I don't know off the top of my head. And then you are going to go to student learning report, teacher learning report. Yeah.
Where did you go?
On the main, are you on this page?
Yeah, are you on the first one, content builder?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So then right here on the column that says teacher learning reports, go down to 2nd grade for math and open up the PDF.
Okay.
And then you should see this. So this is a quick way for you also to see. It's color coordinated as well.
Green is red, yellow is reteach.
Yes, so basically when people say, okay, what's your priority TEK, you're gonna look for those green ones. And then if you're not doing one from the green, then you have to make that decision off of the yellow ones. So we have 2 yellow TEKs this week. Which one, from what you're seeing at the end of our module, is going to be like kind of more of the priority, or we can kind of mesh them together, okay? So the next step of our chart is to look at what the end looks like. So what that means is that we're going to look at questions that are going to be asked of the students before we plan the 3 weeks to see what their end goal is. So that while we're doing the planning, we know which parts are important, if we have to pull something out, if we need to add in something to an activity that's just not hitting it, we know what they're going to do at the end of this unit. So those questions are those the STEM scopes questions. So when we're in each of the modules, and I know that we've looked at these before, but that noise is really bothering me.
That's why the kids can concentrate when they have them.
I want to turn off the monitoring, but I don't want to mess up the recording, so.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? Let me just set this down and hope that the microphone picks me up.
Oh, what have I done?
I'm just going to speak to it. Sorry. Okay, so into the module, you want to look at the end in mind. What are our evaluate questions going to look like? So we have 2 sets of questions that are really good for us because we don't have star questions to look like. So we want the closest thing to what a star question would look like. And they have the standard based assessment or the skills quiz. I find the standard based assessment to be the most aligned to what a star question would look like. So in thinking with what they're going to be asked to be doing next year. All right. And so just take a second. I'll give you like a minute to look through these. And then thinking about what are they going to need to know to be able to do this? And what are they going to need to show to be able to do these problems?
So and that you mean like as in their place value chart?
So they need to know place value.
Like is addition and subtraction? They need to know if they're adding or they're subtracting?
Okay, so those to me sound like two different things that need to be known. They need to know like, and that's kind of where this is 2 teaks in 1. They have to know the facts, like their fluency of it, but they also have to know the reasoning and picking the 2, like which one. Now, on any of those questions, tell me, are any of them asking them to identify addition or subtraction? Or do they actually already give them the equation?
They have to identify, right? Because it's or like in the answers, in the answer choice.
But yeah, like, because I saw a few of them are actually giving them an equation. So, like, they know they add because it's already giving them that symbol.
But this one doesn't have it.
So there's a word problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to put fact, fluency, and then we're going to do...
Property of operations, is that something that you can put on?
How does the question ask it?
On this one?
Mm-hmm.
It says Miss Meyer has 25 gel pens, 51 mechanical pencils, 18 markers, and 23 crayons. How many writing utensils does Miss Meyer have in all?
So do they have to be able to know that they can add them in any order for them to be able to answer that question?
No,
Or they could just take them?
they could just leave it.
Okay. Because, I mean, that is like a teak that we're practicing right now, but to get to this one, they don't necessarily have to have that. It is a good thing to add in, but...
But where do they have this one? Which problem best matches the number sentence shown? 60 minus 41. She gets, she needs, she spent. They get it in a certain order, right?
Order or...
Because they need the biggest number to subtract from, right? Number 3.
She saved 60. I wouldn't say that that's order. I would say... They would need comprehension
Okay.
of operation of actions.
Okay.
So they need to understand the action that is happening and how that relates to the different operations. Okay, and we can keep adding into this because I've found when I go to make the shows and I solve something, I sometimes come back and I'm like, oh, ding, they also needed to know this to go along with how I want them to show the problem. So let's pick a problem just to solve. I say number 5 because it's the only one that's not already giving them their equation. Let's solve that one and then, or just write out what we would use to solve it. So then we can put that on what we're expecting students to show for this.
Okay.
51 mechanical pencils. These are expo markers. And keep in mind the problem solving model.
Well, I'm gonna show you something that one kid showed me today, and it just
No, that's great to go with
Okay.
Mental strategies.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that the one that they're wanting us to use as a campus
Oh.
for
What's it called?
Um,
Justify JIPS
let me look at the
or
exact.
IJPS. We need a poster of that.
They're in the works of making the poster for us.
Okay.
So I discussed with them the expectation of having everybody do it starts once.
ISPJ.
Once
See,
this
I was
gets
so
out.
bad.
Yes, information,
So
solution statement, plan, and justify. And so sentence to answer the question.
what was the S? Sorry.
Solution statement, like a sentence.
But not the answer, right?
No. Well, they end up coming back into it. So
Okay.
before solving, the students should be making a sentence
Okay.
with a blank area of where their answer will come to.
Got you.
I'm gonna put this right here.
And then the P was the planning.
Yes, so how are they gonna solve this with like a picture?
Would this be?
That would work.
So I'll put this right here?
Yes.
And then justify like another way to solving it?
Solving, checking, or check your work, use a new strategy, or use an inverse operation. And so thinking about where our kids are right now, they're probably not ready for an inverse operation as they're,
There's the inverse.
some of them might, but also with something that has
So many numbers.
4 pieces, inverse operation might be, you know, so maybe them using a different strategy, they did that strategy, or putting that into a picture. So like, oh, can you put that in a strip diagram? Can you put that on a number line?
Gotcha.
I'm really getting annoyed with that thing.
You haven't?
I'm getting annoyed with that thing. Okay, for time purposes. So what do we want them to show
Okay.
when they're solving this? Oh. And if anything comes up for a no or show side, just let me know which side you want to add to.
Place value. Because some of my kids can only do it that way.
Okay. So when you say place value chart, do you mean a picture model?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna put picture model next to that.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to show it with a pictorial model.
So, like their writing sentences, would that be something they need to show? Yeah, right, because it's on the S.
They have to show their comprehension.
Yeah.
So you want a sentence. The facts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's it called? Skip counting? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Skip
Yeah.
counting?
I'm gonna put that on a no side.
Okay.
Things that they need to know is how to skip count. And then also on the show side, I'm gonna put hundreds chart because that's a way that they can show their skip counting as well.
Okay.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you're thinking needs to be added in? And again, this is very fluid. We can come in and out of it even next week because we have a few extra days of these 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. No, I think like you said, their gamify that you make, that's great. 'Cause
Yeah.
If they see it, they know it.
They've already been introduced to kind of getting into this one. I know, so I told you I was so excited for us to get to this area because the things we put in place before.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, are there any manipulatives that need to be added to what we're doing? For example, like I just said, 100 sharp.
I guess also like their place value, like the flats, the rods. Yeah.
Okay, so you, the base 10
Base 10
blocks?
blocks, yeah.
Okay.
For some of them.
Yeah, at the moment, that's the only ones that I can think of as well.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do for students who are not successful with this? It's difficult. Just think about it for a second. Like that's, you don't have to have the answer right on top of your head.
I guess we have to do, when we do acceleration, we have to pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
And like do one-on-one, like train them how to use it. Or maybe start with just the I. Because like some of my kids won't write. That's
Yeah.
a lot for them.
Yeah.
So maybe start one day I, then we go to S, P, J.
Okay, so not making them do the whole entire chart in one day. It's great. Sorry.
So like if I put them for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, like okay, let's do the first one, and then tomorrow we'll go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, that works.
Okay.
A strategy I've done, and it sometimes gets a little bit of pushback, but and it is what it works for every kid, because this is like overall problem solving is the number one thing that ends up being the reason we're struggling in math. But I have them pull it out sentence by sentence. And so like the first sentence, they're going to pull out what's happening and put it in a picture.
Good.
We favor using strip diagrams because it's easier just to like draw the strip and then go to the next P, like literally breaking. It's almost using reading strategies in your math at this point, because we have to determine if it's the problem that's got them or if it's their actual addition. But that's why we've spent, a whole week of doing the mental math strategies and everything. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you have a student who is struggling in this part, but they're doing okay here. But yeah, sentence by sentence. And so here, this is what's happening right here. Draw it. Okay, the new sentence just happened. Draw that. The new sentence just happened. Draw that. The reason that gets pushed back though is because sometimes you really need to know the question. So I would say add in some reading strategies of read through one time and then break apart each sentence. And then you have already said that you have tools for your students who are struggling with the actual computation of adding up their numbers. So it's still staying with those base 10 blocks until they can get into writing the numbers of it, which kind of goes hand in hand with the picture. Like you could grab those blocks and have them be reading the story. Okay, here's your little units cubes. That's how many pins, or even like show me 25 to represent the gel pens, and they pull out their cubes or their blocks are going with the story, and then you could have them bringing it to a math. So teaching them the action of acting it out before solving it. I think that's a great idea. All right. So we've said the priority seek that's going to be retaught during acceleration is
2.3.
2.3C.
3C.
And then like I said, you'll use that question for reteach, and then we can find from the Think It Up book questions for that. And then we'll reassess it with the CFA. Okay. So now let's dive into what actual resources they're using. And we can talk through that. Day 6, Explorer. Okay, I'm already identifying something here that I want to go put back onto our chart they're gonna need in order to be able to do this activity.
The numbers in it? Or like blank plus blank equals?
They do need to know how to make a number sentence. Anything else that you noticed?
The pictures?
The pictorial model we put on there. Estimate.
The tomatoes?
Estimate. The tomatoes. No, the estimate.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to make an intentional
Okay.
vocabulary check
Tomatoes
there.
and potatoes?
And a way that I've been introducing kind of, again, because I already, like, 9 years of this, I know in the future what's coming with language-wise, but
yeah.
When we do that Give Me 5 part where we're doing the word problem but not solving it, I always have them draw a picture. And so this is how I would always end on a problem. We never get to the actual solve it because I just want them to get through the thinking process of it. But I'd be like, what would be like a reasonable number to put here? Because then they're making an estimate.
Prediction.
And like, I can also have that conversation, especially with the subtraction problems where it's like, why would you put a number here that's bigger than this big strip? You know, so they just start to have really authentic conversation about an estimated number. So you talking about, okay, like let's literally, and you're doing that mental math with them, and it's a mixture of all the things. But just think about you also, and we'll put that into the slides, the word estimate and what it means.
I know. I told her I needed the, like, print out the vocabulary words.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little chart so they can see it. I can see it.
And we're working on getting a school-wide set for the vertical stuff as well, because that's
yeah,
something
she said
we
that
identified.
yesterday, to put it outside in the hallways and stuff.
To do that, to have introduce games and activities that teachers can be doing in the classroom, because that was identified as one of the reasons our data dive into 3rd, 4th, and 5th star last year. We were just saying that vocabulary just is lacking on campus. But we want everyone to be doing the same thing so that kids go up to the next level familiar with it. But what did I just, vocabulary estimate. Make sure that I put that in there.
Yeah.
Okay, but majority of the rest of this, we're pictorial models, which they're asking them to do. Reading through the problem, talking about mental strategies. Would you say that this activity is doable with what we've got? Do we need to add anything to?
No, I think it's good.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Moving along. This looks very similar to the last.
Mm-hmm.
Use a pictorial model, write your answer using a number sentence, explain the strategy that you used to solve.
So on the estimate, you will put a 40 plus 30?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you can talk about estimations being like
Rounding up?
rounding,
Okay.
yes. As they don't have an explicit teach of estimation prior to us starting this. Like we haven't just done an actual teach on what estimate means because you know the whole entire. Have you ever seen people do like the balloon thing? Because kids need to know what if I'm like when I'm at 5. At what point do I go up? At what point do I go down with it? You hold the balloon with the string and then you show 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the balloon, when you have 5 fingers out, it goes flying into the air. But yeah, or you talk about what is it closer to, and again, the 100 chart's a really good one right there for you to think about which direction you're moving in.
This is so good. I feel like I learned so much today.
It's kind of okay. So the agenda keeps us
On
going
track.
on track. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
now I know what I have to do.
It's the no-show charts.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in the planning with the end in mind and getting that done before you get, well, because especially for new teachers like yourself, you don't know what is coming, and when you look at an activity, you just follow the instructions of the activity, not knowing, you know, and it's those special little tweaks that you can do into any activity that you're doing with an extra, I know you're going to have to end up doing this, so why don't I just add in a little piece to mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. I gotta add something else. Alright. I believe this is either Wednesday or Thursday.
Number line.
Number line.
And you know that gave me 5 where they have to do grader, at least 2 graders? I'm making them do it on the number line because that was not great.
So show on the number line. And I believe, 9 and 10. That's 8. Let's look at this exit here. Again, they're using number line estimations. For Thursday.
So does that go like every 2 weeks kind of thing? Or because it's 14 days?
Does what go every 2 weeks?
Because you know how it says day 8, 9, 10.
On the scope?
No, the other one that you had open. That.
This one? It's just however long that module is. So
Oh, okay.
the curriculum's gone in and they've
Oh,
They
so that'll be
find out
like
how
3
many
weeks.
days we need for everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why sometimes like we have something that we go through within maybe like a 5-day cycle. And then the bigger chunky stuff is 14 days here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to learn more
Mm-hmm.
the thing. Because,
Mhm.
yeah, I wouldn't. Okay.
All right. Well, we got through all of our questions and our resources.
Are we going to make this CFA for...
That's going to be at our next. So
Okay.
this one was reviewing the data,
Mm-hmm.
and then our next is creating the CFA. The next CFA, because we already had, I know it's really confusing because of the cycles, but we made the CFA that we're taking for next, this week's math is already made.
No.
Yeah, because that was the one that we did. We were talking in Dixon's room, but it got interrupted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that one's already
Oh.
been created. It's number 6. I have it in here. But that was a very confusing day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So each time we only talk about either the dive of the data or creating the next
So
one
tomorrow is like creating.
for reading.
For reading.
It's really difficult to get
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
As by last year, we did both in one just to make sure everybody was on the same page. But yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.